Crook TV.
It's another Skip Sauntering Snippets recording. For years I've been telling the folks in my local hamlet, beware of strings attached when applying for or receiving grants and other kinds of monies from the federal government. Start again. Another incident of Skip Sauntering's Snippets. For years I've been telling my local hamlet, as well as others, when you apply for grants and receive other federal monies, be careful of strings attached. As I've oft told the story of the bandstand and the outdoor skating rink that we possess, the little codicils that go in the middle so they don't get seen are the most expensive ones. If the bandstand is no longer needed and you tear it down, you have to pay the money back, stretching back decades with interest. Same thing with the skating rink. It ain't cheap to fix. Sometimes I think it's worth saying no more good money after bad, but the same thing applies. It goes back decades and you have to pay the federal government back with interest. Everything comes with strings attached, and Grokster David Werner outlined how in receiving COVID money, the Executive Council and New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu, aka Baby Huey, accepted some big ones, big strings attached, when by contract, the monies that were received from the federal government for COVID basically gave away our sovereignty when it comes to public health. That the federal government gets to now tell the state of New Hampshire what it can and cannot do if the feds decide to do something. Well, that made political pawns, because here we are in the middle of a pandemic and everybody loves free money, supposedly, especially when they don't have to deal with the repercussions thereof. Well, a couple of days this next story came out, and I forwarded a URL to one of the folks on my school board that basically says that the Biden administration has decided that every single school district that receives federal money that feeds poor and low-income children breakfast, lunch, and supper, and sometimes even summer meals, will have to positively affirm transgenderism in the school systems. Yes, indeed, folks, if you want that overabundance of tax money that is taken from us, pushed through the federal government vigorish, where they take their top of the money, take from it for overhead purposes, and then simply returns that money and tells us what to do. Sure, nobody wants to see kids go hungry, but now the Biden administration has really tightened down the screws. This is extortion. Hey, just like that old mafia saying, nice store you got there, it'd be a pity if something happened to it, has now been translated by the administration, oh, those poor children. It would be such a bad thing to see what happens when you don't take our strings attached and they go hungry and die of starvation because you school boards hate children. This is the part where the Democrats, because the Biden administration is nothing more than pure progressive Democrat socialists, are basically saying, screw you. We're going to get everything that we want by hook or by crook, and we're not above abusing little children to get our way. I'm sorry, this is wrong. In so many different ways, I wouldn't even begin to know where to start. I'm not happy when the federal government is so huge and has so much money that it can give away to get states to do what they want. Most states have seatbelt laws. Most people don't know that the federal government, deciding that it was good for you and you need to do this, basically bribed states to pass seatbelt laws. Well, thankfully, New Hampshire hasn't done that yet. In this aspect, anyways, New Hampshire has decided in our live free or die state, that adults are adults and they can choose what's best for them. Yes, seatbelt laws were put into place for small children and kiddie seats for the youngest children. But for adults, excuse me, you get to decide. Now, I've always decided to buckle my seatbelt, and I remember long ago when I first started driving, excuse me again, that even when Mom decided to sit in my Camaro, she was going to buckle up. She didn't want to. We sat there for 45 minutes. She wanted to get to her errands, but my car was at the end of the driveway blocking hers, so she couldn't get anything done. She finally acceded, and I said, oh, persistence pays off. Well, federal government's taken that to a whole new level, and it's disgusting. People ought to start writing their representatives and saying, why is the Biden administration making these students mere political pawns in sexuality indoctrination? Why is this religion of everything that years ago used to be deviancy is now goodness? And I'll put it that way because not enough people are. Maybe I'm old school, and now I'm old enough to say I am old school. But here in New Hampshire, right Annie Custer, Chris Pappas, Jean Shaheen, and Maggie the Red Hassan, who is up for election along with Custer and Pappas, let them know that this is wrong by the titular head of their political party, Joe Biden, and the Department of Agriculture, Department of FDA, and Department of Education, because I can never remember who controls what for school lunches. I'm Skip, and until next time, thank you very much.
Croc TV.